I'd like to ask a question relating to people living in the Crown dependencies, particularly the Channel Islands and the Isle of Man. We've heard a lot of news about the British government bailing out iSave and trying to get the money back from Iceland. What we've had very little news about is people in the Channel Islands and the Isle of Man who invested money in offshoots of Icelandic banks, who stand to lose a considerable amount of their savings and have had absolutely no help whatsoever from either the British government or their respective governments. I spoke and interviewed to a lady who's 98 years old. 98. She put her money in Landsbanki Guernsey, and although eventually she may get back a lot of it, let's be honest, with the time scale being envisaged, in all probability she'll be dead before she gets that money. Why is it that nobody cares about these people? And I don't want to hear from politicians the usual platitudes, we're so sorry and we can't do anything about it. There's been a lot of vitriol from British politicians. Vince Gable, who I previously had respect for, referred to people of the Isle of Man and offshore Crown protectorates as spivs and tax dodgers living in tax havens. Is that what you think this 98-year-old woman is, Vince? Because she is typical of people who've put their money in that. They're not tax dodgers. They are not millionaires. They are people who actually live in the Crown protectorates. Alistair Darling called the Isle of Man just a tax haven sitting in the Irish Sea. Well, that's very nice of you, Alistair, to refer to people like that. This is supposed to be a British Crown protectorate. Before this happened, I thought a protectorate meant that the British government had some obligation to protect these people. But I've now realised that's not true at all. I'm sure if they were invaded by another country or terrorists, then the British government would do something about it. They'd do something about it because it would be in the interest of the British government. But this isn't in the interest of the British government, is it? The British government doesn't want to help, and let's face it, why does nobody want to help? Because it's not worth any votes for you. And as politicians, the only thing you care about is votes. The reason you helped people in iSave is because it was a lot of votes and it would have been a catastrophe if the banks had failed. That's why you did it. It was not out of the goodness of your own heart. And here is a 98-year-old woman. She's been through 2 world wars. Her husband signed up to serve for his country underage at only 17 years old in the First World War, and also fought in the Second World War, and these are the kind of people you abandoned.